Hello and welcome. My name is Asif. Today I wanted to talk about the Sino-US relationship. The Secretary of States of the USA, Anthony Blinken, is currently visiting China. A much anticipated meeting between the two biggest superpowers on this floating rock that we call Earth. This is the first visit of a high ranking US official to China in over 5 years. All of us who have ruined good relationships know that lack of communication can destroy a lot of beautiful things. So we are happy that our mom and dad are talking at least, even though the divorce has been all but finalized. Uh, Thinking about the backstory a little bit, during the 19th century, the late 19th century, uh, China was forced to open its doors to foreign powers because they kind of beat their ass in wars. After that, modernization of China was kind of forced upon when the Japanese invaded, and after that, there was a Chinese civil war. China has a lot of civil wars, but this one was the latest. During the civil war of 1946 to 1950, the Communist Party of China was led by Mao Zedong, and the Nationalist Party was led by Chiang Kai shek. Long story short, Chiang Kai shek lost and he ran to Taiwan. He fled to Taiwan with his troops and politicians, I guess, and then established the Republic of China. Uh, and the communists on the mainland created the People's Republic of China that we know currently today as the China. And China is very adamant in this regard that they do not like when anyone refers to the territories that they have included in China as anything but part of China. This is considered as their one China policy. If you want to have a diplomatic relationship with China, you must abide by the one China policy. So Mao Zedong ruled China and did whatever he did, caused a lot of famine and cultural revolution, killing a lot of people, blah 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 blah. Moving to the late 90s, we saw rapid capitalism, well, not rapid capitalism, the rapid development of China because they opened their door to free trade and so on and so on. So, since the late 90s or even early 2000, we have seen tremendous growth of China, both China and Taiwan. Uh, the Sino-US relationship used to be really bad, but they become a little better during the Sino-Soviet split. But they become really good when Mao Zedong died, and the leaders that came after him wanted to open up China to other people. So now Bill Clinton enters this picture. The Sino-US relationship started to get very strong in the late 90s when Bill Clinton improved in and made sure China joined the World Trade Organization. Since then, China has become the manufacturing hub in the world, and Taiwan is now the leading manufacturer of semiconductor. Now, this is something that we should all know about. Semiconductors are small chips that power every single electronic device that you can imagine of, from like say this thing that measures the temperature and the humidity in this room, from this to this mobile phone, all these things run on semiconductors. And Taiwan is the forerunner of this technology. They produce most of the semiconductors in this world. Whatever electronic device you use, there's a good chance some part of it or most part of it came from Taiwan or China or both. So this is all good, right? Taiwan is living their own life, China is doing whatever they are doing, and America is they are doing whatever they are doing. But the problem is Taiwan and USA have formed a good relationship, even though America will not recognize Taiwan as an independent country. America remains willfully ambiguous when it comes to the topic of Taiwan, where they will not consider Taiwan as an independent state, but will kind of like perform all the businesses like they are. And this is something that China does not like. Even in this meeting that China and USA has been doing, the Chinese party, Mr. Qin, who is the foreign minister of China, he has very clearly said that uh, this Taiwan issue cannot be negotiated. They are not going to negotiate. Like when Russia invaded Ukraine, nobody is saying that it's right. But when, and I'm saying when, not if, because one day, sooner or later, China will invade Taiwan. They are not going to be like Russia and say that, oh, we're just performing a military operation. No, they will be like, Taiwan has always been a part of China. We're just like putting our military on our soil. That's what everyone does. So why is it problematic? Number one is obviously business. Even though Americans will try to put human rights and democracy and liberal values when they are talking about protecting Taiwan, it's not. It's mostly about two things. One is the strategical advantage of Taiwan in the South China Sea, and two is the business. Obviously, China is claiming the whole of South China Sea as if they like they make the rules, I guess. But it's Communist Party of China, so obviously they do make the rules. But most of the other countries there, I mean, I'm saying most, but all of the countries that are there do not recognize this absurd claim of China claiming most of South China Sea. So this is something that USA has active interest in, because a lot of the countries there, such as Philippines and Japan, are very very close military ally of USA. So military strategy is a very big point of contention with China. And the second is obviously trade war that has been raging since the Trump administration. And you can differentiate a lot between Trump and Biden in a lot of regards, but when it comes to China, both of them kind of follow the same principles. They do not trust China, and the Sino-US relationship has only deteriorated since Biden took power. It hasn't improved, even though people thought that, oh, now that Trump is gone, Biden is here to fix the Sino-US relationship. No, that's not going to happen. So, even though talks are happening, in reality, not much has changed. The trade war is still going. The threat of Chinese invasion of Taiwan is still looming over our head. China still claims almost all of the South China Sea. They have been putting artificial islands there, military islands. Their fishermen have been depleting the whole ocean. They will continue to do that because Chinese are absolute thieves, and their government actually encourages the fishermen to do these things. And they are not going to stop the genocide on Uyghur Muslims. They are not going to change any of their acts, and America is not going to change any of their views on China. And mostly the biggest problem of all, China being one of the leading polluters of this world, the leading uh, producer of greenhouse gas, and America is like trailing them. They did not talk about climate change at all. Obviously, they did not, because that's not even on the agenda. They don't care about it. Even though that is the first and foremost thing we should all be worried about. We're not. We're just living like it's never gonna happen. It is happening right now. So, so that's where it leaves us with a meeting where the two sides come together to agree that they need to talk more. Not a very optimistic situation we have on our hands, but it is definitely better than the cold relationship that has existed for the last 8 years. To answer the question that we first asked, will the Sino US relationship improve? I would say the answer is no, it will not improve. It will deteriorate even further, but at least they have agreed to talk, and maybe in their next talk, they will decide to do something to actually improve the relationship and save themselves and us, because we are also getting hurt by their trade war and their cyber war and all of these wars that they are, the infighting that are happening between the China and US. It's not good for any of us. It's not good for any of us. We are the one who are suffering. We are the one who are suffering the consequences of these leaders being impotent, I guess. So no, I don't think China US relationship will improve. I think it will deteriorate even further, and things will get worse before it gets better. Uh, so until then, don't have your hopes up and be ready to see worse days ahead. Thank you. That's all. That's all I wanted to say. See ya.